Welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking about two stocks that are potential sells right now, or at least I would be very cautious about purchasing. And this all comes on the back of this Reddit discussion I saw on the value investing subreddit, which has Nike at $65 per share or Lululemon at $160 per share. And he's asking if any of the value investors like the stocks at those prices, and many of the comments were neither. Look elsewhere. Some people were in favor of Nike much more than Lululemon because of really both industries. The apparel and fashion industry is just a very tough industry to be in right now. There's facing a lot of headwinds, but the legacy brand of Nike does seem to be a little bit more comfortable with investors than Lululemon at the moment. So I went ahead and looked at Lululemon's page here on investorwaves.com. We track sentiment and commentary and trade calls from YouTube videos, and soon to be we're going to be adding in Substack newsletters and many more sources where we can extract opinions on specific stocks from investors around the internet. So we pulled up Lululemon here, and there's a lot of quotes here from different people saying maybe to be avoiding Lululemon, to be bearish. Most notably, the Patient Investor, who is a big YouTuber, came out and said that it's down about 55% year to date, sales dropping to 1%, about 1%, and the CEO has actually even admitted that the company has become too predictable in its offerings and missing trends. And so as a fashion company and apparel company, it's going to be all trend and hype based, right? And personally, I haven't seen a whole ton of hype for Lululemon in a while now. It does seem like they have prioritized increasing prices and their profit margin sometimes, and there's just a very competitive landscape in the luxury apparel market. One company I've seen actually kind of take Lululemon's spot has been Alo. And so here the Patient Investor is saying that Lululemon has the potential to be a trap because you can't really predict consumer preferences. And yeah, that's a valid point and very tough. There are ways to predict it. I've personally seen some investors who can get an edge specifically focusing on consumer preferences using things like TikTok and alternative data. But if you're not someone who has an edge in that, I would be very cautious. And this one coming from Motley Fool Money, their opinion of the stock was that the business is getting commoditized and they either need to figure out how to get people to want to pay more for their product, or they need to make money in a market where they don't have to bring down prices to compete. So I'm not sure what that product would be where they wouldn't have to lower prices, but especially in an economy where inflation, all these things are bringing the consumer down. And I know they're focused on a luxury market, and usually luxury brands are well positioned in times of tough times, but definitely keep an eye on Lululemon. Let me know in the comments what you think of the stock. And it has been up just slightly, about trading even in the last 6 months, but it's not looking good ever since about June 3rd. They were kind of up here in the $300 per share 2025, and now they're cut down. So that's Lululemon. And just to kind of elaborate more on some problems here on Lululemon, they are kind of facing a lot of potential uncertainty with the tariffs. They did announce that import taxes is going to cause a 1.7% dip in gross margins for the year. And they also have some lowering demand on some of their other categories, their lounge and social categories. So Those are two other problems it's facing. So that's to wrap it up on Lululemon, and to get more into the Nike stock conversation. Nike stock currently trading at $67 per share, plus 20% it says in the last 6 months, but down on the year. And to get onto InvestorWaves.com here, the Motley Fool actually came out and said that the Nike stock continues to be a value trap in the future of athletics because of the smaller, more niche brands that are playing in the high end of the market and are able to have higher growth, higher operating profits, and they're trading for a slight premium in the market. So he thinks that Nike brings a much higher risk than a lot of people think. And that's an interesting point to make, because usually Nike is one of those legacy brands, that blue chip brands that people don't really think can face these big tailwinds and be touched by these competitors. So that's an interesting thing to think about. And another quote coming in here from the Chit Chat Stock podcast was, they're saying basically with Nike, they've had stagnant growth and margin pressure, and you're not going to get paid and get the returns for the risk, right? So that's one more. And then kind of talking about their revenue growth is they had revenue growth of -1% and its worst gross margin in 20 years. So it's difficult to see this from Nike, some of this sentiment coming out from investors on the stock if you are a position holder. But this is a good YouTube video here from Financial Independentist, and he kind of argued that the sentiment is kind of coming back to the marketplace. They did have a new CEO who is a longtime employee of the company, which is cool to see. I believe his name is Elliot. And so he's gonna start this turnaround, and he's gonna try to bring it back to where it once was in terms of share price. But that's gonna take time, right? So it's gonna take time. If you're currently invested, it's probably not something that's gonna recover super fast, and it does hurt when you don't have the business model to compete, right? If you are that's the thing with these consumer brands, if you don't have some sort of recurring revenue product, like maybe like a Whoop, for example, that has the subscription consumer facing product in the wellness industry. But Nike is manufacture, sell. It's one-time monetization per product, and there's probably a lot more higher upside opportunities in businesses that have a stronger business model and are maybe in more industries with more growth, right? Obviously AI, other things like that. So those are things that are going for and against Nike there. So I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about Nike. Let me know in the comments what you think. And every day I'm sending out 3 actionable stock ideas from YouTube videos, podcasts, each day to your newsletter, to your email newsletter. And all you have to do is put in your email address here, and I will send that, and that'll be the first link in the description. So friendly reminder to do that, to get that, and I will see you in the next video.